Good evening. The meeting is now called to order, and we shall open this meeting with Councilman Stevens performing the invocation, followed by our Pledge of Allegiance. Can you all stand, please?
Excuse me, Vice Mayor, real quick before we stand. Just for the record, this meeting is January 11, 2022. Can I go ahead and call the roll?
Yes, you may.
Councilwoman Campbell,
Present.
Councilman Leon,
Present.
Councilwoman McDowell,
Here.
Councilwoman Julian,
Present.
Councilman Stevens,
Here.
Vice Mayor Wilson,
Present.
Mayor Harris. You have a quorum.
God our Father, we thank you for your grace and mercy towards us. We thank you for this opportunity, God, to gather to discuss business that affect your people. It is our prayers, God, in this season that you continue to bless us. God, you continue to keep us. Bless the city that we call Miami Gardens, its leadership, and everyone that has something to do with it. And all things, God, we promise to give your precious Son name all the honor, praise, and glory that it deserves. It is in your Son name I do pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so now the next item on the agenda will be the approval of the minutes.
Yes, Madam Vice Mayor, council members, I did email this afternoon the draft October 26th and the draft December 14, 2022 meeting minutes for your approval. I recommend approval.
Motion.
Second.
Let's call the vote.
All those in favor, by the say of aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, so now we're on to the order of business. Is there anything that needs to be pulled from the consent agenda?
Madam Vice Mayor, Council, before you, we did email add-on item number 1. This is sponsored by Councilwoman Campbell. It is directing the city manager to develop a public access to defibrillation program, PAD in paren. This is sponsored by Councilwoman Campbell, and without objection, we ask that it be added to the consent agenda as item 11.2.
You have a question, sir?
Yes, I just would like to know if we can bring it to the actual agenda because I haven't had time to review it. This is my first time seeing this.
So you want to defer this
No,
agenda
I wanna
item, or
bring
you
it
want
to
to bring it to the agenda, add it to the discussion agenda?
That's right, so
Okay.
that I can get a presentation, a debriefing on it. Right?
Okay, Mr. Clerk, are we able to do that?
Yeah, we'll put it as 12.1 on the resolutions.
Madam Vice Mayor,
Yes,
I'd like to add a discussion item to the agenda
okay.
called Public Safety.
I'm sorry, repeat that again, Councilwoman?
We're adding a discussion item to the agenda to discuss public safety.
Mr. Clerk, are we able to do that?
Yes, this is the point of the agenda where we can put items on there. I would recommend that probably we either put it under 12 resolutions or we could put it under the reports of the mayor and city council.
Councilwoman, which do you prefer?
You said we can put it either under resolution or under, let's do it under resolution.
All right,
Okay.
so I have that noted, public safety discussion as item 12.2.
Thank you.
It's 12.2?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, are there any other requests or amendments to the agenda as presented? Okay, so then I make a motion that we accept the amendments to the agenda.
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, okay.
Mr. Clerk, please show me present.
Duly noted, sir.
All right. We're on special presentations right now. And I have the honor of doing the first one. For many years, this young lady has been a part of the city, and we are grateful for her service. Mimi Turin is retiring from being our special magistrate, and we really appreciate everything that you've done. And just a small token of our appreciation, we have a commendation for you, as well as a plaque that reads, "Presented to Mimi Turin, Esquire, in appreciation for all of your dedicated service as a hearing officer for the city of Miami Gardens. Best of luck on your future endeavors from the Miami Gardens City Council on this January 11th, 2023. So thank you for all your service that you provided to the residents and to this city. Thank you. Oh, that's Sonia, you wanted to say anything?
Yes, I've been here a long time. It'll be 19 years in February, actually. And so one of the first things I had to do as city attorney was with staff, write the code of ordinances, the whole thing. And in doing that, we had to appoint people as special masters. Mimi was one of our first, and she has served consistently since then. Even when we've gotten in a bind and she's busy, and the manager knows, he's appointed her on occasions to do certain things that under his purview. She's always done it. She's always helped, and she's retiring, and so it is befitting that we give her this commendation and the plaque.
And I will allow everyone to clap at this time.
I would just like to say that I've seen the city grow, and I've always been impressed with how you took people with experience and compassion, brought them together to create a city where there wasn't one before. And I've always been proud and thankful to have been a part of that, because I always hold Miami Gardens as an example to other cities that I work with. So thank you for allowing me to have been part of this. I'm so proud of Miami Gardens. Thank you, and it's clear that you care about your community and the quality of life of your citizens, and it's just very inspiring. So thank you, I appreciated it. Thank you.
Council, would you guys join me taking a picture?
Oh, I love that.
Coming back. Now we have another special presentation honoring our police department. I'm gonna ask Councilman Leon to come down with me. As you guys know, this past year, we had a devastating hurricane over on the West Coast. And Councilman Leon took it upon himself to stage a food gathering and equipment gathering program to take over to Fort Myers. We had officers that took part in that, and we wanted to honor them tonight. Just like we had other officers who went over and stayed for a couple of weeks over there, we wanted to take the time tonight to honor those officers that saw it fitting to take time out of their personal lives to go over to Naples and Fort Myers and help some of our neighbors to the west with some of the things that they were dealing with. So as we call your name, please come forth. And Mr. Manager, you want to come up too? And I'll read this first one. Okay. The city manager also just reminded me on the way back from over there, and there were two people that were in some type of car accident or was in some type of cardiac situation, and those officers stopped and assisted. The whole group stopped and assisted. So we wanted to give them a special shout out for that. So the certificate of special recognition, this is congratulatory certificate, is awarded to Officer Roberto Pazzo. And on behalf of the 115,000 residents, the City of Miami Gardens would like to commend and recognize you for your outstanding service to those Floridians whose lives were upended due to Hurricane Ian, and for stepping up to help those in need. We appreciate you. Officer Kevin Yerby. You guys could clap again. Officer Jimmy Sanchez. Officer Henry Peyote. Sergeant Emmanuel Genty. Sergeant Dana Levine. That Eagles fan. Officer Angel Stutz. Again, thank you guys for your dedicated service to this community and to the folks over on our West Coast. We appreciate everything that you guys do. And we're glad to have you as officers of the City of Miami Gardens. We appreciate you. Council, you want to come down again?
I wanted to say this. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all go ahead. I'll wait till later. I wanted to say this to these officers again. When the football player, Mr. Hamlin, almost lost his life on the field, and I watched it on television, I became overwhelmed with emotion again. Because when we were in Fort Myers, I saw our officers gather around the body of a man that was losing his life as well. And their action right there on the highways in the midst of traffic shows you what these people do every single day, every single day. And they broke windows. They got into a whole nother mode that was just impressive. And I cannot begin to tell you how that image and the bravery and how you all gathered from heaven above the ability to be able to save these people's lives. That's what these people did. Not only did we bring the food and the clothes and the baby diapers and take a food truck under the leadership of our then Vice Mayor Reggie Leon, but we also brought to that city lifesavers. And so it was more than just, and it wasn't anything that we planned. It was more than just a first aid or, it was a life-saving venture. And we were stuck in traffic, and the first responders could not get to those people. But these people moved in a way, they were superheroes that day. And so I just wanted to tell you again, I thank you, because the world witnessed what first responders did on that football field, and we witnessed what you all did on the highways in Fort Myers. So you are to be commended.
All right, we got a special presentation by the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Manager.
Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, council members. It's an honor for me tonight to present to you an accommodation to several of our police officers again, based on an heroic efforts that they put on and display in our neighboring city, the city of Opa-locka. Before I do that, but I just want to thank the officers and the sergeants and the police chief and the assistant chiefs and deputy chiefs for the training that is put in each and every day that requires you to serve the way you serve. I can be none prouder than the department that I am today, not because of the things that we have given them today and we will give to them today, but the way we stand by them in crisis. This is an important city. And you may say, why important, Cameron? It's important because we are responsible to citizens who look up to us to move the city in a very good direction. And without public safety, we wouldn't have economic development. Without public safety, we wouldn't have parks and recreation. Without public safety, we wouldn't have a whole lot of things. But the fact that we do have a public safety department led by a good chief, supported by good men and women of that department, it's always a proud moment when a neighboring city we're able to reach out to and assist, but yet another neighboring city right next to us reaches out and says, I want to recognize your employees for something they did to assist us. So having said that, what I like to do, Mayor, if you don't mind, I like to call Chief Scott Israel up to give a couple of minutes on what happened and what transpired that day. And then if the council members can come back down and we can hand out the certificates to those folks he would like to recognize tonight.
Sure.
Scott Israel, Chief of Opa-locka.
Chief, welcome to the city.
Thank you.
It's a
Mr.
pleasure
Mayor.
seeing you.
It's a pleasure seeing you, Mr. Mayor, esteemed town council, Chief Noel Pratt, Manager Benson. We got about 30 different police departments in Dade County. We all wear blue, the patches are different. But as Dr. King said, we may have all arrived on different ships, but we're in the same boat now. And I think if you see how agencies interact with each other, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, you'll see that we need each other. And when a crisis situation comes, we operate as one. And it's because of the training that we all go through. And we had a situation about a month and a half ago, Mr. Mayor. We had an armed subject. He had shot his firearm. Firearm was loaded, and he was just walking around neighborhoods with the gun, pointing it at various people. We contacted him. We gave him directions, and some people cooperate, and some people listen, and some people sadly don't. There came a point in time where one of our sergeants fired at the suspect. She struck him one time. Thankfully, he recovered from his wounds. He was charged accordingly. But that situation could not have been handled as seamlessly and as safely as it was without the partnership exhibited that day by the men and women that wear the patch called Miami Gardens. I'm so proud to be part of this profession, and I'm so proud of not only our police officers, but proud of your officers for the help rendered that day. So I came here. Mr. Mayor, with your permission, I'd like to read a brief letter, if I may, sir.
You can.
It's from me to your manager and your police chief. And it says, as you know, police shootings can be chaotic for all involved. The officers that you provided to assist us at the scene ensured that we were able to safely and effectively handle the situation. I would like to thank you for the assistance that was provided to the city of Opelika on October 24th, 2022, during an officer-involved shooting that happened in our jurisdiction. Please convey my sincere appreciation to the following officers. Your officers actually took the violator into custody, and your officers actually recovered the firearm from the violator. So it was hands-on, and to the men and women in the back of the room, Godspeed to you. We respect you and we appreciate you. Thank you for what you did that evening. I'd like to read the names of the officers: Joshua Diaz, Eduardo Rodriguez, Jose Montilla, Christian Vega, and Jeff Brutus. Thank you very much for allowing me to do this, sir.
No, thank you, sir. Are those officers present? Could you guys please come forth? And council, can we go up once again and take pictures with them? Okay, we got one more presentation. But before we do the presentation, I'd like to acknowledge our state representative, Representative Christopher Benjamin. Sir, please stand. Congratulations again. Would you like to say anything? Okay. Thank you, guys. The next presentation will be presented by Councilwoman Linda Julia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, I would like to call up Malana Polk, a student from Crestview Elementary School.
All right.
And if Ms. Jennifer Polk, her mother, can also join her. And is Shanice Dorsey present, her science coach? Please come on up.
Come on, guys, you give it up for Crestview, that's for sure. That's one of our students in one of our schools.
I went to that elementary school. I went to Crestview.
You went to Crestview? My children went to Crestview.
Tell everyone what your science project was about. So if you want to join me here, and your science coach and your mom can stand here, but join me here at the podium. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Malana Polk. She is a third grader at Crestview Elementary School. Malana was one of our STEM participants for our 11th annual science fair. The name of her project, Money Vibes. And I will allow her the opportunity, and I remember her project very well because I was quite intrigued as to how and why she decided to make this her science project. There was a little mistake with her check. So her check had the incorrect name on it. And so we wanted to allow her the opportunity to be recognized before the city council. So this is somewhat of a do-over for you, Malana, because you are very deserving of your accomplishment for the science fair. So we are going to present her with a check, and she won $400, right? And Malana, tell our mayor, council, and our esteemed guest why you decided to do the project Money Vibes. What inspired you to do that?
I was inspired because there was a boy at my school that was blind and was fascinated about coins and how they sound. And I wanted to do this project to see if people can use their sense of hearing alone to tell apart a penny, nickel, dime, and quarter.
And her thesis proved to be accurate. So in essence, her project was, if you are hard of seeing, you can tell which coin is which based on the sound of the coin. So a quarter, if you drop it on the ground, will sound different from a penny, different from a nickel, different from a dime. And so hence why we are here this evening to honor you. So Mayor and Council, if you would just join me up front for a photo. Come on up. Let's recognize our young students. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our future.
All right, special presentations are over. We're on public comments. Mr. Clerk, do you have any written communication?
Mr. Mayor, a written communication was forwarded to the council directly from Paulette Bartlett.
Yes.
We'll go ahead and have that included as part of the minutes as an exhibit.
All right, and I have 3 cards here, and I'll start with Miss Rhea Hughes. Miss Hughes?
Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year's to all. I'm Rhea Hughes. I reside at 3335 Northwest 180th Street, Miami Gardens, Florida, 33056. I informed council members and others in attendance at council meeting last year. Communities are working with the state, county, and city as it pertains to repairing and maintaining of streets, sidewalks, traffic lights, and installation of traffic calming systems throughout the city. One major safety concern I brought up were individuals making illegal turns when exiting the Gardens Promenade near Burlington Coat Factory on 183rd Street and 28th Avenue. The exit sign reads, "Right turn only." On several occasions, I requested Miami Gardens Police to monitor this location when time permits to enforce this law, which they have done, and citations were issued. The community has been very instrumental with the state, who will be installing plastic poles to stop and deter individuals from making this illegal left turn. But just recently, in the latter part of December 2022, at approximately 5:30 a.m., I witnessed a Miami Gardens police officer in a Miami Gardens vehicle making the same illegal left turn at this location. No siren was on to indicate any type of emergency. To the Miami Gardens Police Department, we, the residents, depend on you to enforce the laws. And if you yourselves are not adhering to and or abiding by the law, then what example are you setting for others in this city? Character is doing what's right, even when you think no one is watching. Remember, no one is above the law. We must all do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hughes. June Sheffield? Or? You guys gonna talk at the same, both?
No, we're not talking at the same time.
We're singing the same thing, but we're together.
Okay, so,
Go first, or I'm gonna go. So Ziegler.
so you wanna go first, and then he,
I'm going.
because he'll be next. So you could go first. You could go first.
No,
Go ahead,
wait,
y'all
no.
could come to the,
All
both
right,
of you guys could come up.
My name is John Ziegler. I reside at 18501 Northwest 22nd Court, Miami Gardens, Florida, 33056. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, staff, and citizens of Miami Gardens and guests. The topic is veterans. I'm the newly elected chairperson of the Veteran Affairs Advisory Board, and I was appointed by Mayor Harris to be on this particular board, on the committee. We also have a newly elected vice chairperson, Janae Sheffield, and newly elected Secretary Barry Bergens. I've served as a non-commissioned officer in both the Army and the Air Force, and have received numerous awards for military achievement. I have worked as a federal safety specialist investigator for the United States Postal Service, and was also the South Florida District Veterans Coordinator. But on the special city council meeting agenda on November the 16th, 2022, the 2023 Legislative Priorities Project and Initiatives under Veteran Services, it states that the city wishes to seek matching funds of $500,000 to assist with constructing a recreational facility at Myrtle Grove Park. We should not utilize Veteran Services as a way to assist districts in obtaining additional funding to actually build a gym. Myrtle Grove Park is not an ideal location for Veteran Services and cannot provide the services we need, and it would take years before anything is done. Why wait to build a facility at a non-vital location with little to no community interaction when we have provided a proposal which will save the city money, and that $500,000 and matching funds can be used more productively. People use words like honor, valor, and thank you for your service as a punchline. But we as veterans have forsaken our families to go to foreign lands to fight for the very freedom and protection that we all enjoy. I myself have been deployed overseas. I'm a 100% disabled veteran. My best friend was killed. He was run over by a tank. We, the Veterans Committee, pride ourselves on
Excuse me,
truth.
Mr. Ziegler, hold on a second. Let's put our phones on vibrate, please, or silent. Thank you.
We, the Veterans Committee, pride ourselves on truth and transparency, and would expect our city leadership to do the same and not use veteran services as a means to obtain other projects such as the Myrtle Grove Recreation Facility disguised as veteran services. We do not want to provide lip service, but real service to the community. We want to provide action, not inaction, through long drawn-out projects that will take years to complete or not at all. Our veterans are waiting for services that could be and can be provided right now. We have the knowledge, skills, and ability to do the required work. We are in need of office space, of which we would respectfully like to be located at the Senior Citizen Center. It is imperative that we work together to benefit the entire community and that Veterans Advisory Committee be included at the table of conversation and not hear about projects from outside sources.
While we truly do appreciate the support of the city council members concerning the Memorial Day event and the Veteran Day events, we cannot be complacent and sit back when there is much work to be done in the community as it pertains to veterans and their family members. We have provided the city clerk with proposals of our goals we would like to achieve this year. There are veterans in each of your assigned areas, and each of you should have a best interest in what we do as a board in the community. But yet, most of you have never been to our meetings or sent a representative, with the exception of Mr. Kevin Brown from the mayor's office and Mr. Anthony Stewart from the Councilman Stevens' office. As the new leadership of this board, I am extending an open invitation to all the council members to attend our meetings, which are held the second Tuesday of each month at 1 p.m. at the Senior Citizen Center. The Miami Gardens community is in need of veteran service, just like other major cities, and the Veteran Committee stands ready to assist in providing services. I was appointed to this committee by Councilman Robert Stevens, representing seat 6, and it is my goal, as well as the board members, to create and provide a high level of standard and excellence to the work we are to perform, and we gladly appreciate your support in these matters, of which we are ready to perform right now, not years from now. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And let me first say that we do support our veterans and we'll continue to support our veterans. So you guys will check in with me periodically. Okay? All right, thank you. All right, any other written communication?
No, there's no other written
No other written communication, any other public comments? Public comments now closed. We're on to ordinances for the first reading. What?
Ordinance is on for first reading. Item 8.1. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, amending Article 2, City Council, Section 2-60, Public Participation of the Code of Ordinances, providing for adoption or representation, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing a severability clause, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the City Attorney.
Madam Attorney?
Janelle Murphy, Assistant City Attorney, will present.
Good evening. This ordinance is to amend section 2-60 of the code, which is regarding public participation at city council meetings. Our code already has a decorum section in it. However, there was a recent case that came down that allows us basically to expand how we make sure that decorum is observed. So essentially, if someone is disruptive or too lengthy or things like that, you're allowed to interrupt them. And the amendments allow for actions that you may take, just to make sure that we always, you all always observe the quorum.
Need a motion on this item?
So moved.
Been moved and seconded. Any questions or concerns from the board? Showing no questions or concerns. You have something? Go ahead, Vice Chair.
So, when it comes back for, the second reading, will we have any other, additional or specific ways in which we can outline the decorum of both the council as well as our public as we are making comments?
Well, in the ordinance, it lays out what can be done. It lays out, for an example, you can issue a warning and provide an opportunity, provide the individual. an
Yeah, I'm
opportunity.
saying anything over and above that, like if we wanted to add to that ordinance outside, so that when it comes back for second reading, that kind of thing can be amended in between now and the second reading?
It would have to be amended now on the record in public.
Could it be amended at the second reading?
Yes, ma'am, unless
Okay.
it's a substantive change, then it would have to have another reading, but yes, you can amend it.
It's one thing I would like to add is that we could make sure that we have this amendment, I mean, not amendment, but have this, the ordinance itself printed out so that we can send it to the public, maybe in our newsletter, so they can understand what the decorum is going, what the expectation is going to be from this dais and from this council.
You can do that, Mayor, without amending it.
All right,
Just
so
just direct staff to send it out to.
Mario, I'm gonna ask that we direct staff to do that, please, sir. Or Mr.
I got you.
Mr.
No
Manager.
problem. It gives me an opportunity to add to the community newspaper, so.
Okay,
I got
there
you.
you go. You can add something to the community newspaper. Ms. Manager, you okay?
I'm okay, okay,
You can sit back.
okay, thank you.
And could we make that public also at the desk when they sign up?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
that as people are coming in, they'll understand what
You
the
could actually, a
expectation.
good idea is to put it maybe on the back of that card or somewhere where they see it when they fill out the card to speak. That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's what I was just getting ready to say. If we can add it to, just like how we have the lobbyist information here, we can add it to the back, so that way have it in your hands.
So let's do both, Mario. Make sure we send it out with the newsletter
Right.
and then add it to the card.
And then I'll add one too. I'll also put a notation on the agenda as well too.
Thank you.
And Vice Mayor, if you have changes that you want to get to me ahead of time, I can have it written up so that we can just amend it on second reading to add that additional information.
Thank you, Ms. Janelle.
Thank you.
Mr. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Campbell,
Yes.
Councilman Leon,
Yes.
Councilwoman Godaro,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wilson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Julian,
Yes.
Councilman Stevens,
Yes.
Mayor Harris.
I vote yes.
Motion passes 7-0. All right, there are no ordinances on for second reading public hearing, no resolution public hearing. Item 11, consent agenda. Item 11.1, a resolution of City Council, State of Miami Gardens, Florida, allocating funds from Councilwoman Linda Julian's Public Affairs account in an amount not to exceed $1,000 to the Isaiah John Edward Legacy Foundation, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date, and this is sponsored by Councilwoman Linda Julian. That is your consent agenda.
Motion.
Second. Move. Seconded. Everybody in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Showing none. Show the consent agenda pass.
All right, we're on to resolutions. Item 12.1. A resolution of City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, directing the city manager to develop a public access to defibrillation program for the city's Parks and Recreation Athletics Program, providing for directions to the city manager, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date. And this is sponsored by Councilwoman Shannon Campbell.
Shannon Campbell. Councilwoman Campbell.
Oh, sorry, my apologies. This is my fault.
Councilwoman Shannon Campbell.
Thank you. Apologies accepted. Yes, Mr. Mayor, basically, as we did witness the medical emergency with the football player, Damar Hamlin, it hit me too, being a former four-sport athlete myself, as well as being around athletes. My son's athlete, and I just want us to make sure that our youth on our parks and our community are safe, and as well protect us as a city. So if there is some medical emergency of the same nature, we're well prepared, and we're ready to step in and do what we need to do to save lives. And that's basically what it is, because when you look at the data, the research, by us being a predominantly African-American city, we see that mostly African-American males do suffer from these types of incidents, and that's mostly who's on our parks, you know, our young Black males. So we have to make sure we put some safety measures in place just to make sure that they're safe. And this is just a tool to, a phase one, if you will, to look into it. There's no fiscal impact, just to look into it, to make sure we're in the area, in the arena of safety of our young people in our community. And that's basically what this resolution speaks to.
I got a question. Mr. Manager, isn't it a requirement that we have AEDs at all of our park facilities, and
Mr.
don't
Mayor,
we have
yes.
them there already?
Mr. Mayor, yes, and they are there.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
No, I would just, thank you, Mayor. I just was going to say that, Councilwoman, I think this item is necessary without knowing the operations or the programming that the park department currently have in place. I think this is necessary and in full support. When I pulled the item at the beginning of the meetings, because I hadn't read it yet, but since I've been sitting here, I read it, and I think it's so necessary for time.
And I do believe that all our park staff are trained in CPR, first aid, and the use of AEDs, correct?
Most of them are. Those at the parks, yes.
You say they're trained or they have to be trained?
I think that's part of
the training.
Part of the training. Go ahead, Mr.
No,
Manager.
no.
Yeah, I just want to add, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members, the Parks Director at our directors meeting talked today about some of the things that they are trying to change to improve safety on our fields. They've already engaged in those conversations with other facilities, with other parks departments. And so I fully expect something to come back that we will bring forward to council for adoption.
All right, but I'm almost certain that we have AEDs at every
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
our parks.
but it may be something we may go beyond.
Okay.
To address other things that may occur.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I had a chance to read this item, and I think it's very timely, and I support it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other questions or concerns?
So I'm confused. If we have them at our parks already, what are we doing with this item?
Mr. Mayor, may I?
Yes, go ahead.
Basically, it's good to be informed, what the city managers is sharing with us. And that's basically what it is, keep us in the know, but that's one phase of it. But also, do we need nurses? Or, you know, just like when you have high school football games, it's required that the paramedics are on site. So just in case an emergency of something of the same nature that has happened with this NFL player happens, can our staff really step in and do that in minutes and seconds? Are they really truly trained to handle that? I'm glad that the defibrillators are there. That's great, but we may need to take it a step further, and that's what this addresses. We just need to look into it, like the manager said they are, and let's just get a report back and see what the outcome of that report is, and then we need to take it out. What we need to do as far as a city, a step further, then we can do that at that time. This is just to look into and share with us as a council what we have in place, and if we need to shift and add or delete, and that's what it is, if that answers your question.
So you're amending this item as it is right now?
We can amend it to take it a step further to do that.
Are you asking to amend the item?
No, I'm trying to get an understanding. Are we amending this item?
I guess
Amending it to do what?
Yeah,
Certain nurses and
it'll have to be amended because
Yeah, it only addresses defibrillators, right?
The AEDs are already at the facilities. So you're asking for the park department and the city manager, or you're asking the city manager to have the park department to look into other avenues of safety for our children and anyone who's using our facilities.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Is it safety or first responder?
She has to answer it.
No, but that's what I'm doing. I'm looking around.
What's your question? I didn't hear your question.
The question I was asking is, this is related to first responder type issues when you talk about a defibrillator, right? And so I think it's broadening the concern to say, do we have adequate first responder EMTs kind of people there on site that have a higher level of skill set than maybe our Parks and Recreation folks to deal with emergency situations if they should occur in the minute, as if, like it did on the field. Is that what you're asking for?
All of that. I am.
It's an assessment of sort, right?
Right. Basically, again, I'll kind of restate, or maybe rephrase my statement. Because I respect what the parks have in place, what we as a city have in place with the defibrillators. It's great.
Excellent.
But, and the training that they have, whatever that training is, and I appreciate the fact that they are going to be doing more training and looking into some things. But if, I'm just speaking hypothetically, if we were to have a situation, what we just experienced with Damar Hamlin, is our staff qualified or, able to jump in and do, even if they do use a defibrillator, are we ready and can do the things, some of the things that, on that NFL level, what had occurred? Because those people really stepped in and this man is home now. So we want to keep my concern is our youth on that field, because it could happen. It could happen at any moment, anytime, any hit. So we have to be mindful of that. And I'm just concerned about our youth, number one, their safety and their health and well-being, and us as a city. So go ahead.
Would we be talking about protocols though? Because I know that as I followed the Hamlin, the NFL had certain protocols that they followed when that is the case. And they had the staff there to support whatever protocols. So I know for me, I share your concern. I wouldn't want park staff doing what EMTs should do. And as long as they follow the city's protocol with bringing, or calling or getting the right folks out there to do or attend to the medical concerns of a player, I think that that's the evaluation that I would want. And that is to ensure that our staff operates in a way that is
Mr. Manager, do you have a picture in your mind as to what is being asked right now about?
I don't, but may I make a suggestion?
Yes.
And Councilwoman, I'll ask the question to you. Do you mind withdrawing this item and allowing the Parks and Recreation staff to put together the things that they're working on right now, and then we can bring something back to the next meeting for discussion and possibly approval?
I can. Let's defer it.
Okay.
Let's have some discussion about it, and let's see what we can do.
And
But me-
Paulette's here, so Paulette, all the information
Great.
that you guys been working on, let's put that together and bring back another resolution, and that it will incorporate some of the things that they're doing to change and improve. That okay?
Yes, and just
Okay.
make sure it's at the next meeting.
It will be at the next
And then that it addresses the different phases of what we've all said up here today.
Absolutely.
All right.
So I need a motion to defer.
Motion, I'll
let's-
motion.
Just because it's gonna be a separate item, if I can recommend, we just withdraw this item
Then
completely.
I'll ask for it to be withdrawn.
And then we'll note on the record that it'll be brought in a separate.
I'll
item.
ask to have it withdrawn.
Well, it's her item,
It's
so
my
if she's
item,
withdrawing
sir.
it,
Oh,
it's
go ahead.
withdrawn, you don't have to do a motion on it.
Make a motion to withdraw.
You don't need a motion.
You don't withdraw.
You don't need a motion.
Motion, I'll do a motion to defer
You
the
don't
item,
have-
withdraw
No,
the
just
item.
You don't have to do a
Just
motion
take
to
it.
Okay,
withdraw.
all right, just
our-
withdraw the item until the next meeting.
Duly noted. All right, now we're on to item 12.2, public safety discussion, sponsored by Councilwoman Linda Julian.
Thank you very much.
Councilwoman?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. So I wanted us to have a discussion of sorts. Today, our hearts are heavy as we mourn the recent senseless tragedies that's occurred in Miami Gardens. We remember those who are no longer with us and send our thoughts and prayers to their families and friends. And, we're all in this together, and I always want to provide an opportunity, for us to seek solutions so that we can continue to provide quality of life for our residents. You know, at times like this, it's hard to find the words of comfort. We find solace in the strength of our community and faith as we come together in solidarity against intolerance and hatred. We must remember, however, that the fight against gun violence is far from over, and we cannot allow senseless tragedies like this become common within our society, and we must strive to make our community safer for all who inhabit it. We do have a serious public safety issue in our city, and we have to take bold steps to address it now. We can no longer hide behind the issue. Our slogan, motto, vision, the things that we say and stand for is Miami Gardens is where you want to be. But lately, it's been questionable. And as public servants of our great city, our residents deserve more, and the people that visit our great city do deserve more. We are living in a time of heightened public safety concerns, particularly in relation to gun violence. Gun violence, unfortunately, has caused too much tragedy in our community, taking innocent lives and leaving too many families in pain. I know this firsthand. I too lost my father to gun violence. But today, I want us to talk about how we can act to prevent this violence from happening in the first place. As a community, we need to prioritize public safety and invest in measures that can combat this issue at its core. Ultimately, public safety is the responsibility of us all. We must come together as a community and support each other to create a society where gun violence is no longer a threat. Through education, through community outreach and collaboration, we can make progress in the fight against gun violence. Let us all work together to make our community a safer and more secure place for all. This is not who we are as a city that we know. And I am here to proclaim that I will make it my duty for as long as I am here and beyond to combat this issue vigorously. Miami Gardens is a city that's filled with endless opportunities and love, a city where the Negro National Anthem was birthed, a city where students tap into their curiosity every single day. We saw an example just earlier this afternoon. A city that was founded by an individual who understood public safety at its core, Mayor Gibson, former police officer. We must reaffirm our commitment as leaders to this community on this pivotal issue. We are in this together, and I am not here to point fingers. I ask now, with clear determination and deliberate action, to city manager and the city administration, how can this commission empower you and provide you the tools and resources that you need to be effective as it relates to public safety? How can we help you? How can we empower you? How can we work together as a community? Because I know that we cannot rely on just our police force to combat this issue. It takes all of us. It takes the residents, it takes the citizens, it takes all of us. And so we are here to provide you with whatever resource that you need. And I know I'm putting you on the spot, so think about it. If you want to come with a plan of action, maybe the next council meeting of sorts, but something where we all can work together and empower you, Mr. Manager, and your team, our police department, so that we can mitigate the issue.
Mr. Malley, you got what she said? You understand what she said this time?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
But I was wondering, I'm just waiting for others to speak.
Yeah.
that's all.
Go ahead.
Well, Mr. Mayor, thank you, Councilwoman Julian. And part of that, it's like a timely conversation. I wanted to, there's been an uptick in emails that I'm receiving, and I see some of your names on these emails also when it comes to patrol in the neighborhood and the visibility of our police officers. And granted, our police officers on the road are doing a wonderful job with the tools that they dealt with. But what I would like to do, and it kind of ties into what you just said, Councilwoman, is call a special meeting to talk about public safety, leadership, and the uptick in what's going on here in the city. And I would like to make a motion to do that so that we can give the city manager's office time to talk about some of these items that we're going to discuss.
Can I say something too? I want to say something too. I think this is even bigger than our council and the city manager's office. This have to include the entire city. This have to include the residents. This have to include everyone. Because our police officers, we can hire 1 million police officers. And we can patrol all areas. But if guns are going to continue to run rampant in the community, and children, I saw on television where a 6-year-old kid shot a teacher yesterday. We have got to treat gun violence as if it was the pandemic. So we're gonna need the entire community. We're gonna need our state representatives, our state senators. We're gonna need our Congress people. We're gonna need everybody to be a part of this. So we might not just we can sit down amongst ourselves and talk about it and then bring some type of solution. But this might have to be something where we're going out into our public, talk to our children, educate them about guns, educate them on the situations that's taking place, as well as to talk to our school system. It's gonna have to take a village, really.
Yeah.
In order for this thing for us to put some type of dent in this. Because it's been far too long. I'm a victim of gun violence. I was shot when I was 22 years old. And I understand. And I've seen people walk up and down the street, march, and do all the things that they've done, but it continues to happen.
Right.
So I would want us to really look at coming together with our community and talking to our community, talking to those grandmothers, those aunties, those uncles, those mothers, those fathers, where these guns are in their houses. So I'm for us sitting down and coming up with some programs, but I'm also for us going out into this community and talking to our residents and hearing from them and finding out why. Why is a kid that's 15 and 14 and 13 years old have a gun in your house? And then we find solutions to these things.
Yeah, and
Mayor,
I'm totally for that, and also, but I think that we still need to make sure that we take care of home first.
I agree.
And so that we have some, I've been collecting data, a 6-month project in regards to calls response times. And we have some issues that we need to work on within our city. Outside of gun violence, we need to make sure, I've been forwarding the city manager these emails, starting yesterday, of the uptick of emails that I'm receiving of people not seeing patrol officers, making sure that we have the adequate people on the road every single day. Those are the emails that I'm receiving. And making sure that we have the right staffing on the road. So we have to take care of Miami Gardens first when it comes to public safety.
I want to say something.
And I gotta
Thank you, Mayor. I echo everything that my colleagues are mentioning here. But I want us to look at public safety holistically. Because when we talk about the public safety of the city of Miami Gardens, we're not just speaking of gun violence. Though gun violence is a top priority right now because of what is happening, like you mentioned, Mayor, not just here in the city of Miami Gardens, but around the country. But we have a massive amount of issues that we need to ensure we, the council, and that's why I'm glad the councilwoman proposed a question, what can we do to ensure that our public safety department is properly being ran, and that the necessities, the tools, everything that they need to effectively patrol the city of Miami Gardens. Because if we put up the argument that the city is being effectively patrolled and effectively ran when it comes down to the public safety department, now we can then have the conversation with the community and say, we're doing our part as your elected officials. Now we need you to do your part as the community. And that's to raise an awareness as it relates to why there is guns in these teenagers' hands and guns accessible for these children in our community. So I think it's so necessary that we have a conversation or a meeting. I don't want to talk much about it right now because I've requested some information and I'm still pending the information to even go into details as it relates to the Public Safety Department. But I definitely think a follow-up conversation and a plan of action is necessary because we need to ensure that the community that we currently serve, live in every single day is properly taken care of when it comes down to not just public safety, but overall, what we've been elected to do here. So I definitely support the follow-up conversation. And then Mayor, I support as well having a campaign to ensure that we raise an awareness around this entire city that would make the entire county fall in line, then that would make the entire state fall in line, then it'll make the entire country fall in line to say we got to put a stop to this violence throughout our communities. So I support both conversations that's being had here, but I definitely think the conversation is necessary and we need to put a date stamp on that conversation this evening so that we can come back here together to discuss a plan of action and what is the necessary. Maybe we need to amend the budget. Maybe we need to look at these things to see, do the police department have what they need to effectively do their job? That's all.
Well,
Thank you.
And I'm also waiting on some documentation that can hopefully be available when we have this meeting. So that way we can look at every single aspect of what's going on when it comes to our employees, when it comes to
Well, I agree with everything that's been said here, and I think we can have that conversation. And Mr. Manager, I would love to give you the walking papers to get this set up so we can sit down and discuss it amongst ourselves, and then we can decide what type of campaign we want to proceed with. So
But may I add?
yeah, go ahead.
And I understand that this is not a new conversation.
No, it's not.
Right. It's not a new conversation. We've been here before. We've been here before last year. We were here before the year before. And one of the things that I have been very, very adamant about that I know that we're moving in the direction of doing is that you can't evaluate what you can't see or measure. We don't have specific goals as a part of our strategic plan because we have no strategic plan. We can't measure our effectiveness at doing anything because we are responding to the moment and not moving in long term. And so when we take a look at our police department, and I think that when we forget about the measurements of how far we've come, we have come a long way with dealing with crime and violence and shifting the trajectory in our city. And oftentimes when you have an emergency, or you have a traffic event or whatever, we tend to forget that we've been on an upward climb with that. And that's because we don't evaluate our plans. And so we can respond in the moment, and that's all well and fine. But how does that take us and continue to keep us on a path that we are headed? Because ultimately we're going to have new priorities and we're going to shift our focus, and we will find that we still have not accomplished the goals and built internally the control mechanisms that allow us to measure the effectiveness of things. And so I support everything that everyone has said, but I believe that needs to be a part of the overall strategic planning process for this city. So that as we set the structure or we set our goals and objectives, we hear from the stakeholders, we are able to put together a 5 to 10 year plan that allows us to build and anticipate the growth and development of this city in pace and in sequence with that. So I guess I'm saying to you is we're going to have all these wheels turning, and the question really comes down to, it's not a part of the larger vision. It's just smaller things that don't get us to where we're going. It takes us off our task. And so are we going to have a strategic planning process, or are we just going to have a campaign where
we have a strategic planning process that's getting ready to come in place? When will we start this? In February?
March.
March? Okay, but before that, we can have our conversations in reference to what's happening now. And, well, it's just not what's happening now. It's been happening for quite a while. So we'll have that conversation and,
Can we look at like, January 26th? Is that enough time for the manager, Mr. Mayor?
I think for us to have a conversation, is that enough time for you, Mr. Manager? I guess not only you, but you, your staff, and everybody who will need to be a part of that
And depending on the
conversation.
information that we're waiting on, so that the council can, so we're all looking at the same.
Will that be enough time for you guys to get the information that you requested?
So that's 2 weeks.
Well, the information I request based off staff.
Well, Mr.
Yeah,
Mayor, if
look,
I may, oh, go ahead, Councilwoman, I know you had something to say.
Well, let me just chime in quickly and I'll move on. First of all, I support this, your item. But I agree with everything that was said here today, but I strongly agree with, Councilman Reginald Leon. Visibility is very important. And we need to have a point where we're looking at the data. We need to look and see what's really happening here. And then that should be our starting point and then move forward from there. We can't start making decisions and discuss until we see what's really going on. Because we hear it, we see it, but we really don't know until we get the true data on what crimes are being committed, what's happening. Is it gun violence? Is it cars being stolen? And, so we need to look at the true data. And I too have been getting the emails and the phone calls and we do need to put something in place like Vice Mayor Katrina Wilson has said. We do need to kind of come up with a plan and put something in place long-term. And we need to do it now because it looks like we're going backwards and we can't have that. We need to go forward in a positive way. I know my motto, positive forward progress. So we want to keep that going.
Thank you for that, Councilwoman, and to the mayor and council, thank you for all of your input, because having a discussion is steps in the right direction. And so, Mr. Manager, I've put you on the spot, so you may not have a response right now, because you may need time to have conversations with your command staff, pull data with your team, etc. So for us to try to pinpoint a date or exactly what it is, what we're going to do right now at the city council meeting may not work, because this is a discussion item. This was up for discussion. While everything that we set up here is very valid, I think that we should allow the manager an opportunity to compile information based on what each and every one of us have said up here, and then to come back to us and say, okay, these are the resources I need. This is the plan that I have. This is the action plan, et cetera. And then we can deliberate. But being on the spot right now may not allow him that opportunity to.
Well, Councilwoman, I agree with you to an extent, but some of this is urgent.
Absolutely.
I agree.
So some of this, we can't wait till March.
No,
for
we're
this.
not. I say next council meeting.
Okay.
By next council meeting, come to
So
us and
depending
let us
on
know
his
what it is
staff
that
and
you
how
need.
long it takes for them to pull data, looking for how many officers on road, each division, without overtime, assigned officers to area 1, area 2, area 3, looking for this type of information so that we can know what we have, and maybe we have a bigger problem we may discover. But I thought, we kind of had the problem under control when we approved the budget, that they were going to recruit people. I thought we had it.
And so now we just need to be solution oriented, because again, we're all in this together.
Correct.
Council,
We're all on the same team.
administration, the residents, the people who live on the outskirts, we are all in this together. You know how many crimes have been solved just by Crime Stoppers? People will call in a crime and say, hey, I saw this, or I saw this person, and these people are apprehended. So police officers cannot do it just alone. It's gonna take Lottie Dottie and everybody.
So, Mr. Manager, any other questions though, folks?
I do want to say that whatever information is given to us from the request, that we really need to try to give it historically. I know where we might be right now, but where were we? And because if we address, I'm just going to use this as an example, if we address recruitment, right? How many people have applied and how many actually were interviewed? How many were turned away? How many officers are we losing if we don't have enough? Tell me what the retention levels are. And I want to see not this year, I'm talking about over the last 5 years. Because the only way you can evaluate systemic problems is that you got to see it historically. Because it may or may not be a police issue. It could be a human resource issue. You know, you walk into a school and you say you don't have any teachers. Well, we ain't got them certified. Well, they can't pass the test. Well, but, you know, and it's not the principal's role. So we've got to be able to do the kind of research and the kind of analysis that allows us to get to the root cause of what the issues are. And I'm so sorry, but I don't want to see a year worth of data.
No, me either.
All right, so what date that you had asked for?
And listen,
I asked for January 26th.
that's not enough time.
I mean, we just compiled a bunch of different things, but for the matter at hand, what I was referring to, when I made the motion on public safety, I was talking about when it comes to calls holding officers on the street right now, dealing with this issue. And then maybe we can lump everything else in at some point. But getting those emails continuously about people in your neighborhoods, things like that, we need to address right away.
So you're, okay,
So my motion was for a public safety meeting to discuss those issues, leadership, and to come up with a plan for those particular issues. That was my motion.
I second that.
Yeah, second.
Just for that, just for those?
I mean,
why
you
not
guys
address-
brought up
Why not address everything?
Well, bring it,
because they're
everything
asking
to
for
the
data that's gonna take some time. Right now, the streets are short right now, according to some of the emails. So I feel that's an urgent situation, as opposed to the rally and getting the 5 years worth of data. If they can have it by the 26th, that would be
No,
great.
but the question is, are the streets short?
That's what we want to find out.
Oh, so it's hearsay.
Yeah, that's what we don't know. We're going by
Oh.
email. So that's the point of having the meeting, so we can talk to them to see what exactly is going on.
All right, it's been moved and seconded.
I don't have a second.
I don't,
Yeah.
I second it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I mean, but what we second?
The motion is to call a special
The motion to call.
public
a
safety meeting on January
Yeah.
26th.
Yes, no, wait a minute now. I'm being serious. Are we calling to deal with the most immediate issue that he's talking about? Because he's talking about a shortage. We're not dealing necessarily overall with long haul planning.
Correct.
We're
We don't
talking
know
one
if it's a
thing.
shortage yet.
Hold
We don't know if it's a
Hold on,
shortage.
hold on. We don't know if it's a
Correct.
shortage
Well, he
or not.
said the hearsay.
Hold on. It's hearsay now because of what.
We don't
he's
know
been
yet.
getting. We don't know.
That's the point of having the
And
meeting.
So,
what,
okay, fine.
what we're going to do is address those issues and then obtain all the information that has been requested for over the period of time to address some of the bigger issues, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I'm gonna be clear.
All right? Are we clear?
I'm clear.
Clear? Yeah.
What's the date?
January 26th.
So it's been moved and seconded.
Is that the next excuse me, I don't, is that the next council meeting?
No, that's
No,
the
the
day
day
after.
after. So you want it on the day after the next council meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that going to be in the evening?
You can come up with whatever time works for you and staff.
Okay. All right, I just want to make sure.
No.
Well,
No, not in the morning, Cam. It'll have to be in the afternoon.
I teach in the mornings.
No,
We in the afternoon.
I actually was saying that because I know Ms. Cunningham's in the audience, and Ms. Cunningham, I'm gonna miss your meeting again. But I'm okay.
All right. So all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any oppositions? Showing none, show us schedule for the meeting on the 26th.
All right, next item. We're on items 13, quasi judicial zoning hearings and Jenny disclosures.
Good evening and welcome to the quasi-judicial portion of the January 11th, 2023 City Council meeting. For those persons that will or may be speaking on an item on the agenda or commenting on any item, please stand up and be sworn in by the city clerk. For the applicants, Your item will be called by agenda number and title of your request. When your item is called, please approach the microphone, and when addressed, please state your name and address for the record and explain the reason for your request. Please note that all exhibits presented to the mayor and council become part of the public record.
Mr. Manager?
Raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm that the testimony you provide this evening is true and correct to the best of your knowledge? All right, we're now on to item 13.2.1, ordinances on for second reading and public hearing. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, expanding the entertainment overlay district area as outlined in Exhibit B, attached here to, providing for adoption representation, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing a severability clause, providing for including in the code, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the city manager, and this is a public hearing.
Mr. Manager?
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, there are no changes to this item. Staff recommends approval.
Public comments on this item? Have you received any written communication, Mr. Clerk?
Mr. Mayor, no, we have not received any written communications on this item.
And I have not received any communication here to show anyone for public comments. Again, public comments open on this item. Showing no one present for public comments. Public comments are closed. I need a motion on the item.
Motion.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions or concerns by the dais? Showing none, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Julian?
Yes.
Councilman Stevens?
Yes.
Councilwoman Campbell?
Yes.
Councilman Leon?
Yes.
Councilwoman Goodaro?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Harris?
I vote yes.
Motion passes 7-0. We're now on to the reports of the city manager, city attorney, and city clerk.
Mr. Manager?
You all have received your quarterly reports for January. If you have any questions or concerns, we will gladly meet with you to discuss.
Oh, we skipped you, Mr. Manager? What?
No, I asked him to go. I'm gonna come back.
Oh, okay.
No report.
Mr. Clerk?
No report.
Mr.
Go
Mayor,
back to you.
no, I really don't have much to say. I just was trying to think something through on some information. I just want to say Happy New Year to everyone. Looking forward to the new year and working with the council, obviously with the charter officers. I look forward to this discussion regarding public safety. I think it's something we need to talk about. I think everyone has said something that makes sense. The first thing that popped in my mind was strategic plan. So as we go through these first meetings, I believe that when we get to the strategic planning process, public safety should be the kickoff to that, leading into where we begin. So just keep that in mind as we move through this. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Stevens?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening again, colleagues. Happy New Year. So good to see each and every one of you. I have 2 pages. And I'm gonna kick off the year strong with a 2-page report. No, I'm just joking. I just want to say, Happy New Year, and encourage everyone, if you haven't already, to sign up for the Miami Gardens Fitness Challenge that I'm doing in partnership with Councilman Leon and our County Commissioner Chairman Gilbert's office. The kickoff starts on the the 21st. Saturday the 21st at 8 a.m. All of the entire fitness challenge is over the course of 6 weeks. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday consecutively, held at Betty T. Ferguson. This is to promote the healthy living lifestyles here that we're promoting in the city of Miami Gardens through our Live Hefty department. And all of the other initiative that my colleagues do on the regular to promote healthy eating. So I encourage everyone to come out. I challenge my colleagues. I challenge the charter officers. Many of them speak about working out daily anyway. So I want to see them put their money where their mouth is and join this challenge. That's just, Cam say he walk every morning. Sonia say she in the gym when I call her at 7. And Mario. Yeah. So I just encourage everyone to come and be a part of the fitness challenge. It's going to be great. We have a number of venues, a number of trainers from different gyms throughout the city that's going to come together for this 6 months. And it's going to be good. So more information regarding the fitness challenge, you can visit our city's webpage and all that other good information, and visit eventbrite.com to sign up. Just search Miami Gardens Fitness Challenge. And then starting in the month of February, STEM Saturdays will be back for our young people. So that information will be coming out very soon as well, as it relates to the Saturday that we're going to provide STEM activities. Made my heart smile to see the young lady from Crestview that spoke about her project. And that's investing in our young people so that we can continue to create a thriving community. And that's what it looked like, highlighting our youth that's investing in smart. I would have never thought of that. So to know that I have a young scientist in my community just makes my heart smile. So again, congratulations to the family that helped promote and instill the principles of staying in school and working hard to reach your goal. Congratulations to you all as well. That ends my report. Again, Happy New Year. Thank you to the men and women that was honored this evening from our police department for their above and beyond service to our communities and communities around. I look forward to the conversation on the 26th to see that how we can continue to create a safe environment here in the city of Miami Gardens, because at the end of the day, it's where you want to be. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councilwoman Iguodaro.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Miami Gardens. I am very thankful to be able to serve and to be a blessing to others. I pray that our residents, business owners, and stakeholders had a very special holiday season. Throughout the last quarter, I focused on the social services needs of our residents in my district with the launch of my Lady Cares program. I kicked off this program by personally delivering blue roses to seniors in my district. On Saturday, December 17th at Bunch Park, I hosted Junkanoo with Santa, a toy giveaway. I was able to bless over 300 kids from our Bunch Park area with toys for the holidays. Stay tuned for more services and more functions for our residents in C3. I will be ramping up our Ladies Care Walking Club. Stay tuned or reach out to my office to Mr. Martin, and we'll also be adding swimming as well. I would like to thank our city manager, Mr. Cam Benson, our city attorney, Sonia Dickens, and city clerk, Mario Patai, our chief of police, Delma Noel Pratt, and staff. I thank you. Finally, I thank you, Miami Gardens residents of C3. I am honored to be your councilwoman, and I look forward to serving you in the new year. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman.
Good evening, and again, Happy New Year to everyone, staff, residents, colleagues. I just want to thank this council for your support when it comes to the infill housing program. You passed that item unanimously, and we are able to do, as a council, real work with helping combat affordable housing by building houses right here within our community, and we all played a major part in that. There are a total of 7 houses which will be in Miami Gardens, and those people will have an opportunity. Some people that might be in Miami Gardens that's renting right now might have the opportunity to become a homeowner, and that's because of the work that we're doing here, real work, being able to provide that. I also want to invite you out on the 21st at 9 a.m. At the Omega Center, along with Sigma Alpha chapter of Omega Psi Phi, the best fraternity in the world. We will have our annual, excuse me, Mr. Craig? Something in your throat. Oh, okay. We will have our annual farm share. If you know anybody that needs assistance with groceries, we have farm share that will be there. We'll also have the blood donation machine. We'll be giving away free COVID tests. So again, that's 9 a.m. at the Omega Center on the 21st. Thank you. That's my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Julia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. It is certainly great to be back in the house. I hope that you all had a wonderful holiday season filled with love and joy. On December 12th and December 13th, my office held our 11th annual STEM event. The fair took place at St. Thomas University, and the award ceremony happened at the Betty Ferguson Amphitheater, in which Ms. Polk was a participant. Money vibes, money vibes. In 2021, 120 students participated in the STEM fair. Last month, just a year later, 193 students participated, which means participation was up by 61%. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. I would like to thank the St. Thomas University for graciously allowing us to use their facilities for our kids and their PhD science students who judged the competition. You know, here in the city of Miami Gardens, we are advocating more than ever for STEM opportunities to be given to our students because our world is becoming more and more reliant on systems and processes that involve the STEM fields. Thank you to my city council members, the city administration and staff, the school principals, the educators, the science teachers and coaches, and parents for your support. Investing in our youth always yields the greatest return. Thank you to our police officers for keeping us safe around the clock. As you heard from Chief Scott Israel, our Miami Gardens police officers helped solve a crime in Opa-locka and apprehended the suspects. This is a testament to the hard and skillful work of our police department and our police officers who work hard day in and day out. So to you all, I say thank you. My office has a Black History essay contest that we have launched, which will go into effect on February the 1st. And it is open to all Miami Gardens middle and high school students. And the criteria is as follows, and it's simple. Students should write an essay of no more than 250 words. The essay should focus on an African-American individual who inspires them and who has made significant contributions to our society. Completed applications with the student's name and school info should be emailed to rgrice@miamigardens-fl.gov. We are asking that all applications are in by February 28th, 2023. The first prize is going to be $400. The second place winner is going to get $300, and the third place winner is going to get $200. I wholeheartedly believe in allowing our students the opportunity to earn as they learn. So students, I encourage you all to participate, and parents, I encourage you to spread the news. And lastly, on February the 14th, 2023, myself, in partnership with our Commissioner and Chairman, Oliver Gilbert, are hosting a Valentine's Day dinner for our seniors. This is going to take place at 5 p.m. on Valentine's Day, so you all will be my Valentine. And it's going to be at the Senior Family Center. So if you'd like to get more information, and if you'd like to RSVP, please reach out to Randy Grice from my office. His email address is rgrice@miamigardens-fl.gov. And that ends my report.
It's a tradition around here that when Valentine's Day come, the ladies of the dais make sure the men of the dais
Say it loud,
receive some
man.
type
Say
of
it loud.
Oh, we got you.
ties
If you
or
don't mind
something.
roses, you don't
Say it
mind
loud.
roses?
No, we usually get ties.
Oh, you get ties. You get ties. Okay. Duly noted.
Councilwoman Campbell.
Mr. Mayor, first I want to start with how the year ended in 2022, which was on a high note. I was able to take care of a plethora of families within the city of Miami Gardens with my annual toy drive. And we had so much leftover, the overflow, as you will. And I was able to bless 4 schools. And they were Carroll City Elementary, North County K through 8, Miami Gardens Elementary, and Skyway Elementary, also known as Frederica Wilson School. Those schools were blessed. I received so much love from them, and I appreciate it. And if you guys are watching, I thank you for allowing me to be a blessing to you, because that's what it's about. Also, I was able to bless a daycare right there in the Bajas, Bethelites. They were not expecting it. I just came up with my Santa Claus hat on and knocked on the door, and they were just in awe. And they also were so happy to receive that. I even had a few parents approach me and they began to cry. They were so emotional because they shared with me that I didn't understand how much of a blessing I am being to them, because they didn't know what they were going to do in this time of need. So I was glad that I was able to do that. Also, I was able to provide holiday cuts to some of our youngsters out there, 11 and under, partnered with a local Black-owned barbershop, Stars Cuts, and was able to do that to get those young ones ready and fresh. And they were definitely fresh, nice haircuts, clean, and they were looking sharp for the holidays. So I was glad to bless those young kids with those haircuts as well. And then to start off the new year, people always ask me, how and why do I have so much energy? And the reason is, it's the way I eat. I do work out pretty intense, and I ain't even finna get into that. But it's the way I eat. And I want to encourage our residents, because we do see a lot of diabetes, hypertension, and some of these other ailments within our community, which can be preventable just if we do things in moderation. So I started off the year with the healthy cooking episode called Cooking with the Councilwoman. And we had a good time. We did a nice little dish. I had a professional chef come in and prepare some moves. And then I showed some of my little tricks that how I get down just a little bit. And then we're gonna keep that going, because the people were really excited about it, and just to encourage people to eat healthy. And we need that in our community. And if they see us doing it, I think as leaders, they will follow us as well. So we're gonna keep that going. And then I'm so excited. Finally, I've been speaking with Mr. Tim Williams. He's doing great. His health has come around, so we can give a wave offering to him because he's probably watching. I'm so excited. My town hall is back. So Gail Cunningham, I'm gonna be looking for you next week, Tuesday, 6:30. Tune in, same credentials. We're back, we live. We're gonna do this town hall, and we're gonna have some fun like I like to do. And then just looking for you all, just tune in, and we're gonna keep that positive forward progress going. And that concludes my report.
Councilwoman, I'm still waiting on some of your healthy food. Vice Mayor, I'm sorry.
That's okay,
Vice
that's
Mayor.
okay, that's okay. I too would like to begin with the end of 2022, where in residential C4, we gave over 200 children toys for the holidays at Myrtle Grove K-8 Center. Not only did we give the students toys, but we gave the 8th graders laptops for the holidays. And we were very, very proud to be there. I was proud because Myrtle Grove is in fact the elementary school that I attended as a child. And it is always good to do great things for the children in our community, as well as in a neighborhood that I truly love and grew up in, because Myrtle Grove is something that is very, very dear to my heart. I also am excited about not only our toy drive, but also the privilege to be able to conduct our 4th annual Prosperity Basket giveaway. I love doing that because it's in honor of many of our ancestors who used to prepare the New Year's meal, really seeking the wishes of good prosperity and good health. And so the food that we provided to over 150 residents that day, along with any of our employees that were there, was the well wishes to be able to bring good health, love, and prosperity into their homes and among their families. And so it was my pleasure to do that, and it is always my honor to be able to serve. Additionally, I do want to say I had my Meet Me Sunday at Myrtle Grove Park. And I know that the veterans earlier talked about the construction of Myrtle Grove Park and the legislative priority to really see if we could find matching funds to be able to expand on the facilities to add in one-stop services to our veterans. Our goal is always to try to find ways that we can creatively find opportunities to use and put in tandem the things that we are doing so that it doesn't have to be a separate set of facilities, but rather a way in which we could match so that if nothing else, you will have a place to meet. And Myrtle Grove, I thought, was a great idea because it is in a residential community and it does allow, to a large extent, for the privacy of things to take place. A lot of work has gone into working with the Veterans Administration as they are the ones who were also seeking a way to get in the north side of the county. I am a huge supporter of veterans and I will continue during my tenure to do just that. As we take a look at Meet Me Monday, we had a wonderful time coming back. We're excited about the wonderful things that we're going to be doing in 2023. And I look forward to you continuing to come through and making sure that you are part of a lot of the things that we're going to be doing this year. As a part of our Black History Month, the Marketplace will be celebrating with Mr. Leon, as he has taken the leadership in coordinating many of our Black History Month programs. And so we will be, our vendors will be there and they will be selling their wares. And we are glad, thank you, Councilman, for inviting the Marketplace for the next 4 weeks in February to be a part of the celebration of Black History Month. I hope that you all find it in your hearts to come out and share. Me, along with the Councilman Leon and Councilman Stevens are working hard to make it a memorable month of celebration. And finally, I think it's going to be at the East Lot over there in City Hall. Finally, I want to say that last night I had the pleasure of attending the swearing in of our state officers. We have State Senator Shervin Jones, State Representative Felicia Robinson, State Rep Dottie Joseph, State Rep Christopher Benjamin, State Rep Ashley Gant. They were all sworn in at Florida Memorial University last night. And the one thing that was a common theme in all of their speeches is that get involved, fight for Florida, and in the words of State Rep Felicia Robinson, remember that Florida is mine. And if we all take that feeling, if we all embrace that motto, that we will begin to understand how important it is to fight for and to be involved in what is ours. And then finally, I would ask that you save the date for Juneteenth Park and Party. It'll be our third annual celebration. That concludes my announcements, and thank you.
Thank you. We're going back to Councilman Leon real quick. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I want to take this time out to recognize Janeria Smith. She's one of our new employees to the city clerk's office. She'll be assisting.
Janeria, please stand up so we can see who you are.
And I also want to recognize January 13th, Delta Sigma Theta Founders Day. And I can't forget on January 15th, the AKA's Founders Day. Thank you.
You left out Me Fi Me. Anyhow. Yeah, well. All right. One word, pride. I'm proud to be the mayor of Miami Gardens. I'm proud to be a resident of Miami Gardens. I'm proud to be your neighbor. I'm proud to be part of a city that's growing and blossoming. We're not going to let a few events that have taken place destroy all the hard work that we put in to make this city the way it is now. We talked about earlier that village. and how it's going to take all of us to make a difference. And it's going to take just that, all of us, to come together, put our differences aside, and make this city the great city that is capable and it already is. I had to do an interview right before I came here. And the positive things that were being said about Miami Gardens, the questions that were being asked was how? Well, we the best. That's how. We the best. We have the best residents. We have the best staff. We have the best council. We the best. And we're not going to settle like some people may want us to. We are Miami Gardens, and I am proud. I am proud to live here, to work here, to play here, and to worship here. This is my city, and I love our city. I pray that you all do the same. Be safe. And this year is going to be bigger than last year. So let's get ready to make Miami Gardens the place where everyone wants to be. But we are here. I need a motion to adjourn. It's been moved and seconded. Show this meeting adjourned. Boy, this is longer than I thought.